वो है क्या सर?
ओके सर प्लीज और पीछे कवर कीजिए।
वंदे मातरम, भारत माता की जय। चलो सर चलो।
मैं क्या बोलूँगा you cannot imagine how great it is to be back home. I tell you, after 2 weeks of very intense work, very complicated situation, having to take decisions and work in conditions that were very unusual. I'm very happy, and I think the whole mission is very happy that it's finally over and that we are back home safely, securely, without any accidents or harm to any of our people. So, just for the members of the press, if you want to know the details, we were a very large mission. We are a mission of 192 personnel that were evacuated from Afghanistan literally within a period of 3 days in a very orderly fashion in 2 phases. In addition to our mission personnel, there are also people who work for public sector companies in Afghanistan. For example, we had people from the Air India who also had to be evacuated because the conditions in Kabul city has become very complicated. Then there are, of course, a lot of Indian citizens who found themselves in distress because of the fast changing situation. So our policy was that anyone who reached the embassy was taken into the embassy. But I don't know how they managed inside the embassy, but we were sure that they were safe, secure, and there was an avenue for an exit. That was the general approach we followed. And we did this in 2 phases. We did this, and this would not have been possible without the work of the whole embassy. Different wings did different jobs. Some of the jobs I can't even mention, but it all came together. And we are finally here, safe and secure in front of you. It means a lot to us to be back home, so your welcome really has an impact on all of us. And thank you, of course, to the Indian Air Force, who flew us out under conditions that are not normal, and of course is hosting us here after a long, tiresome journey. Thank you very much.
So can you throw some light at how many Indians are still there or stranded, and what are the plans to evacuate them?
So the number of register themselves. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Though we keep sending out advisories that, especially in countries like Afghanistan, where political situations can change, it is important that Indian citizens register themselves with the Indian embassies so that in times like this, we can extract them whether or not, they may be willing at that time, because sometimes they don't pay enough attention, they get complacent. So there are some individuals there we know of, at least, I would say, well, I know personally of at least 5 or 6, but there are, the figures sometimes that are quoted to us is there could be 40 to 50, but that is not something that I will stand by officially, because we don't have it as a registered person on our database.
Yes.
What was the situation? Was being monitored at the highest level on a day-to-day, minute-to-minute basis, and that is how the whole operation was actually conducted, involving from the junior-most person of the embassy to, let us say, the highest person of the government of India. Let's put it like that. It's not that we have abandoned the people of Afghanistan, that their welfare and our old relationship with them is very much in our mind. We will, going forward, try and continue our interaction with them. Of course, I cannot say in exactly what form and manner, because the situation there is changing so much. We are also continually monitoring the situation there, because there are still some Indian citizens who are there. That is why Air India will continue to run its commercial services to Kabul. That is, as long as the airport in Kabul functions. You would have heard that temporarily Air India had to suspend its commercial services. That was because of the conditions that were there in the airport, which did not allow for civilian aircrafts to come. The coverage of the situation in the airport itself is well known to everyone. It was reported internationally. However, we continue to ensure that anyone who is stuck there is somehow brought here, for which the Ministry of External Affairs has opened a help desk, which is operating already. And they are now going to, since we are no longer there in Kabul, they will now try and monitor the situation and the state of these various people who, some of whom did contact us but were too far away in areas that were no longer possible to access. But there are many others who continue to work in Kabul city despite the changing situation, and then have changed their minds subsequently and will be brought back when the commercial services begin.